Hey Python enthusiast, welcome to Technocraft Academy. I'm Timson, and I'm going to be your guide through the world of object-oriented programming in Python. I'm super excited to embark on this learning journey with you. Well, a bit about me. I'm a passionate programmer with several years of experience. For those of you that are just knowing me, but more importantly, I'm here because I love to impart knowledge. I've created Technocraft Academy as a space for us to learn and grow together. So, what's this course all about? We're diving into the fascinating realm of object oriented programming with Python. We're going to be covering everything from the very basics to much more advanced concept. Whether you're a programming newbie or you're somebody looking to level up his or her Python skills, you are in the right place. If you've never coded before, trust me, don't worry. I've been there before. I've got your back. So if you're ready, if you're somebody that's already familiar with Python, get ready to deepen your understanding with OOP. My approach, it's always been hands-on, practical and fun. We discuss theories and of course we're gonna be getting our hands dirty with coding. We're gonna be employing real-world examples, exercises, and even along the way, give some cool projects to spice up or to put icing on the cake. Let's talk about the structure here. We'll start from the very essentials, which I've said have been issue. We're going to be um, going through the core OOP principles and gradually we'll move into more advanced topics like design patterns and best practices. The course is carefully planned, of course, for a smooth learning curve. To get the most out of this journey, ensure you have your materials, basic tools though. This has to do with your writing material, something like an exercise book, a pen, a paper, and stuff. And of course, get your ID set. I will also recommend some awesome resources to complement your learning. They will be like your kind of coding sidekicks. Um, I want you to understand one thing. This is a two-way street. Of course, questions, comments, and high fives. I want them all. Join the conversation in the comment section below. And who knows, we might even have some live Q&A sessions. Before we kick off, hit that subscribe button and of course ring the notification bell. This way you won't miss any of my Python packed lessons, and also connect with me on Telegram or what have you, or you can even visit our website www.technocraft.com for updates and additional resources. That's just a wrap for this intro. That being said, once again I want to thank you for choosing Technocraft Academy as your Python learning hub or your coding learning hub, whichever you. That said, let's get started. Um, so getting started, first of all, I'm going to create a file or two files here. So the first file is going to be um, a text file. Then the second file is going to be a Python executable file. So let me create the first file. So from this file icon here, in this file tree, in this tree here, by this left hand side, um, click on this file icon. Let me say let me call this OOP notes dot py. I mean dot txt is just gonna be text file. Yeah, we're gonna be I'll be writing some definitions and terminologies, or if I try to explain some terminologies, here is where I will write them all. Then I'm going to create another file, which is going to be the Python executable file, where we're going to be setting our code. Oh, sorry, I've lost that. OOP notes.txt. Okay, enter. Okay, then let me create the executable file for Python where we're gonna be writing our OOP code. So yeah, we're gonna be writing what have you, let me say new uh, OOP class OOP class .py. You can call yours whatever thing you deem fit, but I'm going to call my new OOP class .py. So let's go back to our note. So, what is OOP? What is object oriented programming? OOP, of course, like we said, or like I've said repeatedly, it's an acronym for Object Oriented Programming Paradigm. It's a programming paradigm that uses objects and classes in programming. What does it do? It aims to implement real world entities like inheritance, polymorphisms, polymorphisms, encapsulations, and so on in the programming. The main concept of OOP is to bind the data and of course the functions that work on that together as a single unit so that no other part of the code can access this data. We have several concepts of OOP. Maybe you are finding it difficult to understand what I've just said. I can rephrase it this way. Object oriented programming is a programming paradigm that involves or that revolves around the concept of object, which can be thought of as an instance of a class. In OOP, a program is organized as a collection of these objects, so each representing an instance of a particular class. So the key concept of OOP includes class, object, polymorphism, encapsulation, inheritance, and abstraction. We may have some more other key concepts, but of course these are the basic one, and of course these are the ones I know. Um, so what are these key concepts? But before I go further, I would like to write out the definition so that you may uh, so that you won't lose track of what we are doing, and if I'm too fast, you'll be able to catch what I'm trying to explain. So let me write it out. OP, I'll try in as much as possible to be fast as possible. So it's a, oh, sorry, let me write this in the text file. Okay, OP, sorry, OP is an acronym, for uh, object oriented programming paradigm. Paradigm that is an acronym for object oriented program paradigm. Um, uses let me use a word wrap here. A word wrap enables me to see the instead of losing some text as I type along, as it goes to the right hand side. The word will wrap, and of course, it will wrap on a new line. So let me use word wrap here so that I won't lose some text. So come to the view. Okay, still highlighted separate differently. So it uses um, objects and classes. It uses objects and classes. So let me check the word wrap if you okay. So it everything is clear now. So it uses objects and classes in programming. In programming, you understand? So it aims to uh, implement aims to implement uh, real world scenario or entities. Aims to implement real world entities. So like if like inheritance, polymorphism, polymorphism, polymorphisms. Okay, I think I'm getting it. Okay, yeah, I think I got it. And encapsulation, and so on. EDC in programming. Understand? So um, it also revolves around let me go, it revolves around the concept of objects uh, can be thought of the concept of object which uh, can be thought of can be thought of as which can be thought of as an instance of, or as instances, not as an instance, as instances of um, a particular class. So, what are the key concepts? So, key concept of OOP includes this. Let me write it out. Key concept of OOP. Key concept of OOP. You understand? This includes this include of the class. We have the class. We have the objects. We have the objects. We have the encapsulation. We have inheritance. We have polymorphism. We have polymorphism, and we have abstraction. Abstraction. We have abstraction. So let me explain each of these things. What are classes, or what is a class? A class is a blueprint or a template for creating objects. So it defines the attribute, which is the attribute of a class could be which are known as the data members, and of course methods, which are known as the function that the object of the class will have. So a class, take note, a class is a blueprint or a template for creating objects. So it defines the attributes. What are the attributes of a class? We have the data members, which are the variables, and of course the methods, which are the functions that the object of the class will have. You understand? So we're gonna be coding this and be explaining it with code. So let's just have a theoretical understanding of what it is. So let me let me bring it down to an everyday thing. What is a class? Let's assume you want to build a house, and of course, you have a plan of the house written down somewhere, or maybe drawn by an architect, or you have it at the back of your mind. Now, that thing is that plan of the house is known as the blueprint or a template for creating that house. You understand? So we're gonna be telling us what the house is later. So just know that you have a plan of building a house, and you have the look, the features, the appearance of that house, the how the house is gonna look, if it's gonna be two-story building or skyscraper, or it's gonna be a duplex or whatever. You have the blueprint, you have the drawing, you have how it will look like. You have it at the back of your mind. So that thing that you have at the back of your mind, or that thing drawn by an architect, is known as the blueprint or a template for creating that house. So it defines, what does the architectural design have. It defines the attribute of the house. It defines what the functionality of whatsoever thing that will be used in the house and stuff like that. You understand? So what is an object then? An object is an instance of a class. It's a self-contained unit that combines data. And I told you, data is also an attribute, and of course, functionality, which has to do with the methods. You understand? So objects represent real-world entities and are created based on the structure defined by the class. Now, that object is the house itself. You understand? So the blueprint, the architectural design is the class, and the object, the house that has been designed by an architect, is what is the object. So an object, like I said, is an instance of a class, and it's a self-contained unit that combines um, data, which is also known as one of the attributes, and functionality, which is not one of the methods. You understand? So I also said something like objects represent real world entities and are created based on the structure defined by the class. So what is then an encapsulation? Encapsulation is the bundling of data and methods that operate on the data within a single unit. So a class, that is in a class, it helps in hiding the internal details of the object and exposing only what is necessary. Then the next one we have is inheritance. What is inheritance? Inheritance is like a kind of mechanisms that allows a new class, either the subclass or derived class, to inherit um, from the properties and behavior from an existing class, which is a superclass or base class. So it promotes code reuse and, of course, creation of hierarchical or hierarchy of classes. So inheritance is a way of inheriting from a superclass when a derived class or a subclass inherits from what, a superclass or a base class. Another word for a superclass is called a base class or a parent class. So it's what the essence of it is to promote code reuse and, of course, creation of a kind of hierarchy of classes. So then the next one we have here is polymorphism. What is polymorphism? Polymorphism is what allows objects of different classes to be treated as object of a common base class. So what does it do? It enables a kind of interface to represent different types of forms. So there are two types of polymorphisms. We have the compile time, which is known as method overloading, and the runtime, which is known as method overriding. So take note of that. Let me repeat that. Polymorphism allows objects of different classes to be treated as object of a common base class. So it enables a single interface to represent different types of forms. So there are two types of polymorphisms, like I told you. We have the method overloading, which is also known as which is the compile time, and of course we have method overriding, which is a runtime. So then the last one we're going to be talking here is abstraction. Another name for abstraction is simply data abstraction. So abstraction involves simplifying complex systems by modeling classes based on the essential properties and behavior they share. So it focuses on the essential features while ignoring the non essential details. So these concepts work together to provide a modular, say, scalable, organized approach to software development. So OOP promotes code reusability, maintainability, and, of course, the creation of more understandable and flexible code. So it's widely used in various programming languages, including Java, C++, and others, except C. So um, I made mention of a terminology there. I said something like um, paradigm. What is a paradigm? Paradigm is the approach we employ in while programming. The approach we employ in programming. So we have different kind of paradigm in programming. We have the procedural programming, and we have the functional programming, and we have the what, OOP programming, which is object-oriented programming. So we've done the procedural programming, we've done the functional programming. Of course, we are now in OOP. So the benefits, I told you, the benefit of OOP is for code reusability, you know, to maintain the dry concept. Don't repeat yourself system of Python, and that is that. So we're gonna be we're going to be moving ahead, forging ahead. So I've explained each of the key concepts in Python. So I've explained what a Python class is. If you want me to repeat myself, Python class is a collection of objects, and a class contains blueprint or a prototype from which the object have been created. And I told you that it's a logical entity, something that is conceived in the mind, and it contains some attributes and method. I told you what an attribute is and what a method is. Attributes are the data member of the class, and methods are the function of the class. You understand? So let's consider some examples here. Before, let's just consider some example. Or before that, let me create a syntax for it. The syntax for OOP is this. First of all, um, let's take some points on Python class. So what I mean by class, I mean the concept of OOP, not Python class per se. So what are the points to take note of? Um, this class defines the syntax of Python OOP. So the classes are created by keyword class, Attributes are the variables that belong to a class, like I told you, and attributes are always public and can be accessed using the dot operator, e.g. Let me create a class here. Let me create example. Uh, Let me first of all give us the key concept to note, or key point to uh, note on Python class. So yeah, we should take note of this. Um, classes are classes are created by keyword class are created uh, using the class keyword class uh, keyword. Then attributes are the variables that belong to the class, or are the class variables. And the third thing we should understand that attributes attributes can be accessed using the dot. Let's say using the dot operator. That is, for example, say my class dot my attributes. Sorry, excuse me. My attributes. You understand? So invariably the syntax. Let me scroll up a bit. Invariably the syntax is like this. Class syntax is like this. We have the class keyword, followed by the class name, followed by uh, a column, and of course an indentation. The first statement, you can say the first statement one, um, have some like this, dot to the big continuity, or say statement two, or statement say n, because we can have many statements uh, within a Python class. So, so that is that about Python. An example, this is just the syntax of Python class. So, in the next series, because it's gonna be a series, so in the next series um, we are going to be having a code walkthrough of what we're trying to explain. Thank you very much.